ProfessorBlackOps, Cybersecurity for the People. Facebook, Oversight Board, and Censorship. Facebook created once again, an oversight board of Supreme Court because all the times they're kicking people off of Facebook, censorship, people saying they're not fair, they're not equitable. So they actually created a board to actually do some of the high profile, I guess I'm calling them cases. I was pleasantly surprised because they created a high power board of 20 individuals. We're going to go over a few articles and then look at the overboard site. I was quite impressed with the candidates they actually picked. So once again, you see that featured thumbnail. Facebook Oversight Board Censorship. Stop censorship. Big tech is greater than democracy. Just kind of a thought. It's Facebook and those sites getting actually too big for the United States. Should they be more closely regulated? So let's get into the articles. Facebook Supreme Court / Oversight Board just ruled against Facebook. Facebook Court-like Oversight Board overturned several of the company's decisions to remove content in its first set of decisions since the independent board began hearing cases last fall. The cool thing is, I guess the board is actually showing their independence. Facebook, I guess, kicked people off, and the board said overturn those cases and saying those particular people can get back on Facebook. The board has been called a Facebook version of Supreme Court, announced Thursday, and it's overturned Facebook decisions in 4 of the 5 cases before it. The cases touching issues from hate speech, nudity, and COVID misinformation. Facebook Oversight Board is intended to create a new way of users to appeal content decisions on both Facebook and Instagram. Given the previous criticism of how the company handles hate speech, violent, extremist, and graphic material, the 20-person board includes a former prime minister, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, and a former editor-in-chief of The Guardian. The Facebook says its decisions are final and binding. So the board will have the final decisions, even if it's overruled Facebook. The board's decision will be binding. All 5 cases involved taking down posts for breaking its rules. In one case, Facebook removed a post from Mamar, a user who shared 2 photos of a Syrian toddler of Kurdish ethnicity who drowned attempting to reach Europe in 2015. The accompanying photo, according to the board's decision, said there was something wrong with Muslims or Muslim men's psychology or with their mindset. Mamar faced international scrutiny for the persecution against Iranian Muslims. Facebook removed the post due to its hate speech politics. The board found that while the post might be considered pejorative or offensive towards Muslims, it did not advocate hatred or intentionally incite any forms of imminent harm. As such, the board does not consider its removal to be necessary to protect the right of others. The board posted on its website explaining its decision. So you better go look at that Oversight Board website and see how it actually came up with their decisions, which I'm pleasantly surprised. So we're going to skip down a little bit in this article. Earlier this month, Facebook and a subsidiary Instagram banned the ex-president account from posting at least the remainder of term and potentially indefinitely after a mob of its supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol to protest the election results. Last week, Facebook said it would refer its suspension of the former president to its independent board for the review. The board will have 90 days from the referral to decide whether the trend on Trump should be upheld or not, but a spokesman for the board said it expects to act more quickly than that. The decision announced Thursday suggests the board has no issue disagreeing with Facebook. So that's cool. That lets you know it's an independent board. The board's doing its job. And so these high profile cases, like I said, can go to that board. So let's look at the board. Facebook named 20 people to a Supreme Court for content modernization. The list includes 9 law professors, a Nobel Peace Laureate from Yemen, but no disinformation expert was included. Facebook on Wednesday appointed 20 people from around the world to serve on what effectively to be the social media network Supreme Court for free speech, issue ruling on what kind of posts would be allowed and what should be taken down. The list of the list includes 9 law professors, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate from Yemen, journalist, free speech advocate, a writer from the libertarian Cato Institute. Absent, however, was any prominent expert in studying disinformation. Facebook has struggled to contain state-based manipulative efforts as well as hoax on subjects like false cures and gun violence. Helen Schmidt, a former prime minister of Denmark and one of 4 co-chairs of the board, said they would consider such expertise in recruiting more members. We have tried to consider all communities and also people who have been critical of Facebook in the past. She said the number of members will rise to 40 over time, she said. The Oversight Board is more than 2 years old in the making. It's prompted by the CEO Mark Zuckerberg in 2018 that he wanted to create some sort of structure, almost like a Supreme Court, for users to get a final judgment call on what is acceptable speech, and relieve the company executives of having to decide that. Social media network dating back to MySpace have struggled to write rules that are easy to understand and consistently enforceable, and yet cover variable material that people try to post online. The rules, including Facebook community standards, have evolved to prohibit not only illegal images such as child pornography, but also hate speech, harassment, and most recently, false information about the coronavirus pandemic. So I think Congress has just been hammering the big tech firms. So I think this is their way to try to say, hey, this is out of our hands. We're giving it to a standard board of people. So I think they're trying to get away from some future regulations too by creating this board. Once again, we're going to put the links in the description box for both of these articles. Once again, I thought it was a unique setup by Facebook, setting up a Supreme Court board with, like I said, I thought it was going to be Facebook employees just kind of rubber stamping what they normally do, but obviously that's not the case. So we're going to skip down in this article. Of the 20 members so far, half are male and half are females. 2 of the lawyers joining the board have been discussed potential U.S. Supreme Court nominees. Pamela Karlan, a Stanford law professor who favorites of liberals. McConnell, also a Stanford professor and conservative for a former judge appointment, President George W. Bush. McConnell also told reporters in a conference call that he viewed the court as ensuring Facebook is a neutral platform. A continuous idea of hoaxes and other information that spread on the network. The Nobel Peace Prize laureate Carmen, who won the award in 2011 for her role in organizing protests against the Yemen government as part of a pro-democracy Arab Spring. Once again, below is a Facebook list of 20 members of the Facebook Oversight Board. I'm not going to list the members' name, but we're just going to kind of hit some of their credentials. Human rights advocate, University of Oklahoma College law professor, a journalist, twice served as editor, former UN Special Rapporteur, Freedom of Expression, the Inter-American Commission and American Rights Organization of America, digital rights advocate. So these are some of the people they actually put on the board. Once again, here's the oversight website. Facebook gave them their own website, assuring the respect for free speech through independent judgment. As the community grew to more than 2 billion people, it became increasingly clear to Facebook company that it should not be making so many decisions about speech and online safety on its own. The Oversight Board was created to help Facebook answer some of the most difficult questions around freedom of expression online, what to take down, what to leave up, and why. Once again, this link is going to be in the description. Here's the actual board members so you can get in-depth knowledge of the individual, gives you their background, where they're from. You actually click on a person, it gives you a quick bio, their background, their education, the languages they're speaking, what countries they're from. So that's very pertinent information. Once again, just trying to get a hold of free speech and censorship. I think Facebook is doing, I wouldn't say an excellent job, but making some very formative decisions since big tech, once again, I was joking, is bigger than democracy, but you can control the way a nation thinks if you can control how it communicates with its citizens. So once again, we're going to put those links in the description box. So let's bring this up real quick. So the Oversight Board and censorship. Facebook Board Oversight, 20 members. It should grow to 40 members. Determine what to take down, what to leave up, and why. Decisions to uphold or review Facebook content and decisions are binding. Facebook on large cases get 90 days to approve. Case refer to Facebook, selection of the panel, preparation and external expert input, deliberation and decision. So that just gives you the timeline, project plan of how they make those decisions. Here's the 20 member board growing to 40 members in the near future. Once again, I put the Oversight Board website in there so you can drill down on the individual members, showing their location, a profile and a bio, and their educational background. Once again, Cybersecurity for the People, Professor Black Ops. Please subscribe. Thank you very much.